Hi, everyone. I wanted to give you an update on how we are doing here in Orange County with fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. First and foremost, though, I hope you and your families and loved ones are doing well. This is an extraordinary time. Hopefully, you are finding some reconnection with those you love in ways that you possibly didn't imagine just a few months ago when just a month ago when our stay-at-home orders came into play. But let me share with you, first of all, where we are in the numbers. We've done 795 tests yesterday, 54 new cases reported. Total cases here in Orange County now are 2,126. And hopefully we're starting to test more and more. And as we do, the case count will rise. But something to keep in mind, a higher case count doesn't necessarily mean there are more cases. It just means there are more tests being done, which is a good thing. The low number of testing is still an issue. It's an issue here in Orange County because we know from what Governor Newsom has called for that we must have robust testing to have a clear understanding of where our cases are trending, whether it's upwards or downwards. The governor's goal of 50,000 tests a day across the state with OC at having 8% of the state's population means we should be doing 4,000 tests per day. And we're simply nowhere even close to that number. We have a long way to go. Regarding hospitalizations and deaths, there are currently 157 Orange County residents hospitalized, 62 in ICU, and we have unfortunately experienced 39 deaths to COVID-19. That's 39 of our neighbors who have lost their lives to this pandemic, 39 families who have forever been changed, often in horrible situations where they don't have the ability to say goodbye or hold the hands of those they love as they pass to the other side. So let's keep them in mind in our thoughts and our prayers as we move forward. And let's also keep in mind that while we are going to see us starting to come out of this pandemic at some point, we still have to recognize that there's a right time and a right place to start loosening up the current stay-at-home orders. Just a quick update on what my team and I have been doing. Last week I returned to DC for a bipartisan package to replenish the funding for the Paycheck Protection Program and Economic Injury Disaster Loan. I'm really proud of the job that the Democratic caucus did in increasing that from $250 billion to $500 billion to provide much more increased funding for those two areas. Now, that being said, I will tell you it's still not enough. There are going to be more small businesses who are not going to get funded this time around, which is why we need to get back to Washington and we need to provide more funding for that program, and I'm committed to doing just that. In fact, I'm going back to DC early next week to begin that process because we know we've got a lot of work to do, not just in increasing funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, but also making sure that we are filling in other holes that might have been missed or technical fixes that need to take place in this legislation. We also need to get back to doing our job on our committees. I'm looking forward to getting back to oversight and providing accountability for all the taxpayer dollars that are being spent, as well as our Transportation and Infrastructure Committee looking at what we need to do down the road as we move past the relief process and move into more of a fiscal stimulus to bring our economy back to where it needs to be. Here in DC, or excuse me, here in OC, I do want to highlight a couple events coming up. Tomorrow night, our office will be hosting a Veterans Town Hall with Assemblywoman Cotty Petrie Norris and the VA Regional Director. Any veterans that would like to participate, please go to our Facebook page for a live streaming video. And on Thursday night, our office will be hosting a Virtual Service Academy Info Night. If you're a high school student and you're interested in attending one of our nation's 4 military service academies in 2021 and serving our country at the highest level, then first of all, thank you. My hat is off to you. We're grateful that you are even considering doing that. But second, please join us Thursday night at 7 p.m. and find out everything you need to know about how to apply for a nomination. I'll tell you, one of the best parts of this job is when I get to make a call to a young man or a young woman and let them know that they have been accepted into one of the service academies as they go on and prepare to serve our country. What can you do now? If you're not in a vulnerable group, you can volunteer. Volunteering at the OC Food Bank or Second Harvest or any of the other ones is a great activity. I've done it with my kids. I'm going to be doing it again this Saturday. You see firsthand the literally thousands of people who need our help, and it's a great opportunity to work with your fellow OC citizens and make sure that those who are in the most need can get access to food. Last, look, I know there's a lot of talk about opening up for business. And the one thing I want to encourage everyone is to continue to do the right thing, continue to socially distance, physically distance as we work through this pandemic. We will begin opening up. Some places will start before others, which we're seeing on a national level, and I think we'll see that in the state as well, because different places are at a different point in dealing with this pandemic. But we've got to be safe about it, and we got to be smart about it, because we don't want to create a situation where mass infections cause the overloading of our healthcare system and put our frontline healthcare workers at a risk that they don't deserve to have to take on. So let's keep in mind doing the right thing, listening to our government officials, listening to the governor, and pitching in, because we truly can save lives by continuing to practice social distancing and maintaining the other important aspects of wearing a mask out in the public and so on. So thank you. Stay safe, stay strong, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.